Hello everyone, this is Dr. Leonard. I'm going to walk you through uh, problem number 4 on Mindset, question history. So in this one, what we have is we have a television, radio, online advertising budget, and we've got some numbers here that are acting as our constraints for the optimization. We've got audience for advertising, cost per advertisement, and then the max number of ads that can then buy for each of the different mediums. So then you've also got a few more constraints down here. Advertising radio must not exceed 50% of the total advertisements. In addition, television should account for at least 10% of the number of ads run. And then you have a budget of $18,200. So let's see how I set that up in Excel. What I did was first I just copied the table in with the numbers, the audience, the radio, and the online, and then the cost, and then the max usage. So here I have the buys. So I just set as default dummy variables in cells B8, B9, and B10, 1 to get everything started. And then the way you figure out the cost is you take the number of buys times the cost of each ad. So for instance, this cell right here that says 2000 should have the formula B3 times B8, number of buys. So I'll show you the formulas. We have that here. So the cost is just the number of buys times the cost of each one. So this cell again is C3, the radio buys times the radio cost, and B10 is the online buys times the online cost. And then we have some constraints that are looking at the variables. So what I did was I made this cell B17 the number of total buys. So let's look at that. Right now it's 3 because it's 1% plus 1. And then I've got the percent, so you take the total buys and divide by the total. So this did cause me a problem, but I couldn't figure out another way to do it quite yet. Because when we run the optimization, because we're dividing by a formula that involves the variables, that makes the computer think that this is a nonlinear programming program. So for the solver add-in, we're going to have to actually use the nonlinear instead of the linear. So, maybe if you got stuck there, this will help you. But I ran it before and I did get the answer. So I think that describes all the formulas. So the cost is just the buys times the cost. The percentages is the buys divided by the total. Oh, and then audience contact. So there's two other cells. There's the total buys, which is just the sum of C8, C9, and C10. So that's what the cell is. C4. And then the audience contact is the same thing. Right? We have the audience contact times the buys. So this will be this number right here, 100,000 times 1, plus 18,000 times 1, plus 40,000 times 1, but not 1. It really has to be the cell value, because when you run the solver, it's taking these into account as variables, so these are your changing cells. So, yeah, so this has all the information we need. Now we just need to run the solver to get the optimal solution in terms of how many we can buy given our constraint. So let's go to data. Okay, this computer doesn't have the add-in yet, so we have to go back to the add-in. Add the solver. If you're ever working on a different computer and this happens, and then there's Excel options. Go to add-ins, manage Excel add-ins, click go, and then we want the analysis toolpath and solve it. It appears up here. So let's click to solve it. This will help us find the optimal solution. And because I've run it already, it already has the constraints. So am I changing cells? So I first want to maximize. We want to maximize the audience contact in this problem, given all the constraints. So we want to change the variables B8, B10, B11. So these three cells are variable cells. And then we have some constraints. B10, the radio buys have to be less than B4, the usage rate. So the online buys, so we have three constraints here. B8, B9, and B10 have to be less than the max usage. So we know TV has to be less than 10. The cell B8 has to be less than B4. The cell B9 needs to be less than the cell right here. And the cell B10 needs to be less than B10, the max usage for analysis. So those are fixed constraints. The fourth constraint, we have C12. Okay, so this number is a little bit different based on what I did before. So let's go back to MindTap. There's this. Let's go back to MindTap. So for our problem, our budget is $18,200. I got to check and make sure that the table is the same. 2,300, so the table's still the same. So in my solver, I had 18,200. So let's change that to 18,200. We want to change that to 18,200 and add that one back in. And then, all right, so we have B8 has to be bigger than 0.9. So where is B8? B8 was my percent of TV bucks, so that has to be bigger than 10%. So let's look right here. It says television needs to be at least 10%. It needs to be bigger. And the last constraint is radio must be less than or equal to 50%. So we have the radio has to be less than or equal to 50%. The percentage of radio. So like I said, I'll show you when I run simplex linear, I'll get an error and I won't have a solution. I'm pretty sure it's because I'm dividing by the total buys here. So solver encountered an error in the objective set of constraint. So I'm pretty sure it's because of this division that's going on with that percent of buys. But I noticed if I run the solver again and just change it to ERG nonlinear, then we can click solve. And it updates all my buys here, so we go down 4, 14, 10. So if I go back to mine count, there it is 4, 14, and 10, and then I check it, I do in fact get all the right numbers. And then what is the allocation of the budget among the three media? So the budget is just asking for, let's go back, the budget is asking for points 2. So this is the fifth of the budget for those values. And the last question, it says, how much of the audience contact increase of extra $100 allocated to the promotional budget? Well, that's all that's really saying is, okay, now we can run the same exact solver problem, but instead of being limited to 18,200, we can increase that to 18,300. So if we run the solver again, and then change this to 18,300, okay, so we need to remember what the cost was before, or the audience contract was 105,200. So let me just mark that down in Excel somewhere. I'll just break this down so I get it. 105,200,046. Okay, so then we'll find the solver again. Solver, so we've got the right objective, but now we want to change this to 18,300 because our budget is $100 more. And then we click OK. We want to solver again. So now notice this number is 105,713. So if I do equals the new number minus the old number, what do I get? I get 5,130 is the extra viewership I need. So 5,130, let's check this out. So hopefully that helps you get through this problem.